very warm welcome to Business Today's Most Powerful Women Awards. I'm Shweta Punj, Associate Editor at India Today, and I will be your host for the day. Well, our Most Powerful Women listing is a tradition that India Today Group has been following for over a decade. And I would like to add that we are the oldest such listing in India. Well, we have the awards later this evening, but before that, we have two very interesting panels lined up for you. Let me begin with our first panel. Glass ceiling are some industries that are still women unfriendly. I'm just going to start with a very stereotypical question. Is the glass ceiling still there? Has it been shattered? And second, which, according to you, are the industries that are specifically unfriendly to women?
So Shweta, it's hard to say that there's no glass ceiling because it's a broad world and there's a lot of things going on. But is it much better than it used to be? It absolutely is. But if you think about where manufacturing facilities are situated, and issues like security and safety and the fact that there's still predominantly larger numbers of men from a ratio perspective. So there are a lot of issues that have more to do with the environments.
Let me ask you, Radhika, what's been your experience in terms of attitude towards people, towards women specifically, in your industry?
I'm from the luggage industry, and one can compare that, I think, to the consumer durables trade or even the FMCG, in that primarily the bulk of our workforce is either in manufacturing or in sales. And there's still a lot of both barriers to entries as well as glass ceilings for women. Sales as a job requires a lot of travel. It requires a lot of staying in hotels and moving around. The travel allowances for men and women are the same. But the truth is, it's much safer in India for a man to move around in that way than it is for a woman. And that's a real, I think, deterrent for women to enter sales.
Okay, let's get Pallavi in here.
I think there are two different issues. One is the glass ceiling, because that's how you move up an organization. Women do move slower than men. And I think there are a number of reasons why that whole movement upward happens. One, there is a perception that women will not do certain things. Secondly, women don't assert themselves in the organization. They don't sort of nicely, politely, but ask for what they think is their due. There are organizations now that have to become women-friendly.
By law. I mean, they're being forced to.
By law now you have
they're
to be
being forced
friendly.
Yeah.
They're being forced to. But I think organizations should be voluntarily women-friendly.
Absolutely. Jyoti?
As corporatization has come in, you see more women and coming into the industry. And I think some of us who are already in there need to watch out for other women, give them opportunities, create an environment where they can flourish. But end of the day, I think we spend a lot of time talking about crashes at work, and but I think that's basically being at work or being able to work or being able to be in employment. But if you want to rise up the ladder, you've got to compete at exactly the same level as men.
That's true, I agree.
Absolutely. Mr. Mishra, so how cognizant are organizations of this need and of this glass ceiling that exists?
There's a great amount of awareness. Organizations are doing enough. But there are real challenges. The first challenge is regulatory. Until recently, as you know, women were not allowed by regulation to work in night shifts. A manufacturing organization, a line operation in manufacturing, there will be shift working. No escape. Now, can you allow women operating in 2 shifts and men operating in 3 shifts? There is unionization, there are all kinds of problems. Even today, by Factories Act, women are not allowed perhaps in hazardous operation. What government or regulation defines as hazardous operation, and perhaps rightly so. But the fact is there is a regulatory restriction. Number 2, there is obviously a lot of social restrictions that we talked about. Companies are doing, but they're doing mostly at infrastructure level. The cultural change is important. So unless you do 3, 4, 5 things at policy level, human resources level, just creating a crash, or extending kind of a company car facility for late working. Individual efforts of that kind are not sufficient enough, though they are necessary perhaps.
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed the conversation. Mid-career breaks, is it difficult for women to come back? That's our next panel.
Is a mid-career break a specifically women's issue? Then it says that, is this really a women's personal issue, or is this a societal issue, larger societal issue, or is this an issue for an organization or a corporate to address?
Is it an issue? Absolutely. You're really not tapping into 50% of the talent pool out there. It is an issue for society. It is an issue without question. Your second question is interesting. Is it individual? Is it societal? Is it corporate? And really the answer, like everything, is that it's all of the above. So number one, it's what is it that the woman wants to do, and does she have the ambition? It very much is a corporate issue as well. It's also just a societal issue. Do we have the support? Very fortunate to have spouses, partners, families who almost believe in you even more than you believe in yourself and provide that support to go back. Is it a problem that we must address through all of these factors? 100% yes, and I'm glad that we have this discussion around the topic.
When it comes to a career break, I think it is very important for the individual to realize, A, why they are taking the break, what's their long-term objective, what is the God's gift in them, and how will they exploit that when they come back, rather than just hang on to what you have left and somehow anchoring that when you go back you will be left in the same position. I would wholeheartedly encourage people to fully exploit all the aspirations that they have professionally. If your desire is strong enough, many opportunities will come in front of you which you couldn't have imagined when you are spending all your waking hours in slogging on a job that you are not enjoying. So I would urge people to take the mid-career break and pursue what they want to pursue.
Mid-career break can be one of choice or one of compulsion. Now, the one of choice is always welcome, but the one of compulsion is the one that we need to look out for. In Indian society, the woman is still the primary caregiver, and there is a societal pressure and a family compulsion to be seen to be giving that care. But fact of the matter is that these mid-career breaks, the ones of compulsion, are things which people regret at a particular period of time. Because while the need at that point is very urgent, you need to go ahead and take that break. But subsequently, once that need abates, as it will, at that point of time, it is very important to try and get them back on track, get them to the place where they actually should be, which they deserve, and to ensure that, they can carry on with their career as though a break had not happened. And I think that is the biggest challenge in front of employers like us.
First of all, any career break is taboo in India. And I think it's more in India than anywhere else in the world. If you're working, you need to be working continuously, and no break is acceptable. Okay? So it starts from there. The second is when they come back, as Arundhati said, it's a matter of choice or of compulsion. But if they want to come back by choice, I think it's more than the individual woman herself, it's the organization. And I find that even though we do a lot at a policy level in terms of saying women are welcome back, flexi policies, flexi timings and all of that, I find the rest of their colleagues are unforgiving and nasty. I'm just saying that we need to look at the whole, career break, when does one work? Is it okay to start working after 10 years after your education? Is it okay to take a break for 5 years? I think it just needs a different look altogether.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
This year we had a power-packed jury a jury that met for over 2 hours, and of course Mr. Rahul Bajaj was part of that jury. Can I please invite you on stage, sir, to tell us more about how did you manage to bring down the list to 25 from an original list of 155?
To bring it down to 25 is tough, and especially when we came to 35, 30, I think all were deserving. All were deserving, and I'm sure the jury next year will pick quite a few of those. So my sincere congratulations to the 25 winners. I'm delighted to be here. Thank you very much.
Can I now please invite Mr. Raj Chengappa, Group Editorial Director, Publishing, India Today Group, to please introduce our chief guest for our awards night.
Good evening, and before I do introduce our chief guest, who's very distinguished, all the ladies present here are an inspiration, not just to the industry, but to the whole of India. We are delighted to have with us tonight as our chief guest one of the world's most powerful women, Heather Bresch, CEO of Mylan. It is an honor, ma'am, to have you as our chief guest this evening, and I'm delighted and honored to request you to come and deliver the keynote address. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I am both honored and humbled to be standing here before you this evening. When I was fortunate to go into the role of CEO about 4 years ago, I was, again, I think as most, nervous, excited, challenged, invigorated by the opportunity. And as I would be interviewed by a lot of magazines and interviewers, I was quite shocked that the majority of the questions were about me being a woman, not about my competency or my track record or, what I had done within the company. All the questions were on, how are you a mother, a mother of 4? How do you balance work-life balance? So you're forced to ask yourself, why? Why is that? And again, I think that it's not any one reason. There's no right or wrong answer. But I think with everything else in life, it's a balance, and it's about choices, and it's about working together. And interestingly, as I was growing up through Mylan and working with a lot of different people and seeing a lot of different management styles, I learned that the best management style was to be very open, to have diversity around the table, to be open-minded to different perspectives and different views. And so again, as I've grown and had the opportunity to travel the world and meet with employees and meet with so many powerful people, both men and women, it's about don't rush to judgment or put yourself in a box about what it is that's going to allow your success, because you never know what life's going to hold when you come to that crossroads. So the best advice that I think all of us can continue to help mentor, as we mentor both girls and boys, it's deal with life as it comes. That being proactive and taking leadership, owning your own career, owning your standalone strategy, not being reliant or dependent on somebody is incumbent upon each of us as individuals. And as we continue to help the next generation and the next generation, hopefully to pull down those barriers, to eliminate glass ceilings for all diversity, and to recognize that working together we achieve more. We do more together than any one of us apart. So with that, I can't thank you enough. Thank you for having me, and I look forward to meeting you all this evening.
So you could probably give us a comparison, being a woman leader in the US and in India. What is the difference? Do you face the same kind of discrimination that some of the panelists talked of earlier?
When I first came to India, the first thing that impressed me, first and foremost, is the intellect and the talent in this country. And again, that doesn't know any gender. As US is a developed world and India is developing, I felt that, from my perspective, there was already a lot of barriers being broken. And I do challenge every time I come here. I go, however many women are in the audience, it needs to be doubled by next year. So again, I think that tone is set at that top, leading by example, and recognizing and rewarding competency and that talent, because I'm telling you, your country is full of it. What we say, we can't export it enough to our other countries and facilities around the world.
What is your mantra for success? What are the values you uphold most and think that is what pushed you further and got you where you are here?
From my perspective and my management style, it is that leadership. Take ownership of your life, be independent, not rely on anybody else. Learning, be in that constant state of learning, curiosity, challenging the status quo, never just accepting it is the way it is because it's always been that way. You know, I think curiosity definitely continued to push me forward outside my comfort zone, challenging myself, and teaching. You know, I think it's about teamwork.
Thank you very much.
Well, let's begin the awards ceremony. Can I begin with the first winner of the evening?
Neeta Ambani, Chairperson Reliance Foundation and Director Reliance Industries.
Let's move on now to our next winner of the evening.
Deepika Aruna, Regional Vice President Eurasia, Wyndham Hotel Group.
Let's move on to our next winner.
Arundhati Bhattacharya, Chairman, State Bank of India.
Let's move on to the next winner, our next most powerful woman.
Radhika Piramal, Managing Director, VIP.
Radhika, we'll have to request you to come back on stage. Since our next winner on the list, Meher Padamji, couldn't be here with us, so she's requested Radhika to collect the award on her behalf. Moving on to our next winner on the list.
Ipsita Dasgupta, Chief Commercial Officer, GE South Asia.
Well, our next winner, Aisha Di Sequeira, couldn't be here with us due to some personal commitments. But I believe Surekha Shenoy Kunder, COO of Morgan Stanley's offshoring business in India, is here to collect the award on her behalf. Well, our next winner, Anuradha Desai, also couldn't make it. So let's move on to the next winner on our most powerful women list.
Jyoti Deshpande, Group CEO and Managing Director, Eros International PLC.
Let's move on now to our next winner. Our next winner is Anita Dongre, and she couldn't be here with us. Minakshi Achan, Chief Creative Officer from House of Anita Dongre, is here to collect the award on her behalf. Well, moving on to our next most powerful woman on the list, Tanya Dubash, Executive Director and Chief Brand Officer of Godrej Group. She also couldn't make it due to some personal commitments, but Michelle Francis is here on her behalf to collect the award. Let's move on now to the next winner on the list.
Shanti Ekambaram, President, Consumer Banking, Kotak Mahindra Bank.
Well, our next winner, Vinita Gupta, CEO of Lupin. She heads the third largest drug company in India. She couldn't be here with us today, but Sarika Chavan is here to take the award on her behalf. Well, our next winner leads a team of 85,000 people.
Aruna Jayanthi, Chief Executive Officer, Capgemini, India.
Let's move on to our next winner, Aarti Krishna. She couldn't be here with us due to some commitments, but Mr. C. Rajagopalan, Vice President Marketing, is here to take the award. Ms. Aarti Krishna has been the driving force behind the growth of Sundaram Fasteners for the last decade. Well, let's take a look at our next winner.
Priya Nair, Executive Director, Home Care, Hindustan Unilever.
Moving on to the next winner on the Most Powerful Women 2015 list.
Chitra Ramakrishna, MD and CEO, National Stock Exchange.
Let's move on to our next winner. That's Sunita Reddy of the Apollo Group. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here with us, but we of course wish her the very best. Moving on to our next winner on the MPW list. She's often referred to as the face of India.
Kirtika Reddy, Managing Director, Facebook India.
Let's move on to our next winner, Sangeeta Singh of Wipro. She couldn't be here with us today, but Ranjana Maitra is here to take the award on her behalf. Let's move on now to our next awardee.
Pallavi Shroff, Managing Partner, Shardul Amarchand Mangaldas.
Well, our next winner on the list is considered the Queen of Hospitality, Ms. Jyotsna Suri. And let me just say that she's always made it for our awards, but this time there was an important meeting in Delhi which she just couldn't miss. So many congratulations to her. And can I please invite Mr. Amit Sampson, General Manager of Lalit Hotel, Mumbai, to please collect the award on her behalf. To our next winner, Nishi Vasudeva of HPCL. And she couldn't be here with us, unfortunately, but Sapna Srikant and Renuka Verma are here to collect the award on her behalf. Well, let's get you the next winner on the list.
Geetu Verma, Executive Director Foods, Hindustan Unilever.
Well, let's move on to our final winner in the MPW list for 2015, the computing power, the lady who's powered up this entire list. That's Neelam Dhawan of Hewlett Packard. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for all the 25 winners can I please request Raj and Ms. Bresh to stay on stage to please release the special issue dedicated to the 25 most powerful women in Indian business. Thank you very much. We hope to see you all again next year.